All right, what's going on, everybody? You know it's Thursday. You know it's the best place to be on Thursday. Where we're talking hoops and a little bit of everything around the hardwood. But today, man, we got a special guest on today, man. It is for those who have forgotten for whatever reason. I don't know why. It is Women's Sports Month. You know what I mean? So we're graced with the presence of Miss Sydney Rosant. You know what I mean? A documentary extraordinary, man, who's capturing not only today's stars in the NBA G League, but tomorrow's NBA future stars, man. So without anything else being said, we're gonna bring on the lady, the star herself, Sydney Rosant. How you doing, man?
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me on. I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed.
Nah, for sure. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, man. So I'm gonna give the floor to you, man. Just introduce yourself to the people, you know what I mean? Let them know what you're about.
My name is Sydney, filmmaker, currently in school getting my master's at Brown. Um, what else? What else? Former hooper,
Yeah.
used to former podcaster as well, but I will get into it. But I'm just really blessed to be here. I really appreciate you inviting me on your platform, Arvin. So I'm excited to get into it.
Nah, absolutely. So former player, former hooper. Just to start there, the love of basketball. How did you fall in love with the game?
Good question. I've been playing since I was 4 years old, so I've been playing for a really long time. And I don't know, like I was introduced to a lot of different sports. My dad, he was really open minded about like uh, allowing me and my younger brother to like kind of find our passion. So I played tennis, soccer, but it was just something about basketball. I don't know what it was. I just loved watching it. I loved playing it. Like I had the little kitty hoop in the garage and I was always
Yeah.
playing. So I don't know, it's just something about the sport. I just fell in love with it. So I don't know if there was a specific time. Like I can't remember a time where I didn't love basketball, if that makes sense.
Nah, for sure. Who was that player for you that pulled you in even more to the game?
I've had a lot of different players pull me in for different reasons. I would say the first player that I really whose game I fell in love with was Dwayne Wade.
Mm,
But I think it was that 2006 finals run that I really enjoyed, just enjoyed watching him play. Then after that was Kobe. Um,
of course.
and I grew up in the Bay Area, so the Warriors they had their ascension while I was still out there. So then I was a huge Steph Curry fan. So that would say like but I really enjoy like as you can tell like guard play, elite guard play has always been my thing.
Nah, so I ain't know Sid Dre was from the Bay. Okay. The Bay
Yes,
Area.
yes, yep.
Nah, that's what's so I would say we just had on a guest. He last started from California. He came up. I can't remember exactly where he's from, but just talk a little bit about you know what I mean the basketball out west. You know, I know you're in New York now, which is kind of like the Mecca, but the Mecca's also out there in Cali too.
So yes, it's a good question. I was a lot younger. So I was in California from ages 3 to like 14. So it's kind of hard to describe the basketball culture. Like I don't think I have as much of a grasp on it because I didn't play AAU out there. I had my first ever like basketball trainer, but he was a much older. He was really old, and he was from Mobile, Alabama.
Mm,
So again, it was like I don't really feel like I experienced like Bay Area hoops for real. I will say though, because what we did have, we had I don't know if you remember Yay Area's Finest, that YouTube channel. Like Aaron Gordon, he had a mixtape down viral on their channel. We had Trevor Dunbar. He had this
mm.
whole thing. It was called Shift Team, and
Oh
then
yeah, yeah,
you would
yeah,
put up this sign, and yeah. So we had a little bit. So now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, actually, let me amend my statement. I think that like Bay Area basketball was just very flashy, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Like it it's not, but not necessarily like efficient, if that makes sense. Like flashy, really good guard play, I would say, but it's completely different from where I am now, um, which has a little bit of a grittier feel to it, if that makes sense.
You said
But I
grainy or
think
gritty?
basketball, grittier, like a grittier
Okay.
feel to it. Because I'm in Providence, Rhode Island. So this is a it's like 3 hours. It's 3 hours north of New York from New York City, but it's in the smallest state. And so it was actually my first documentary that I did. Was on one of the outdoor basketball leagues that they have during the summer, and it's just really interesting how being from the smallest state, how that kind of defined the basketball culture and how everyone sort of has like a chip on their shoulder. Everyone has so much to prove, and just kind of juxtaposing that being from California where everyone's just like really hooping and just like having fun. And it's like, you know,
Yeah.
we're the Bay, like that sort of thing. So I always find it interesting because like basketball is so cultured, and I think that the place that you're from is going to be reflected in how you approach the game, if that makes sense. So I always think about stuff like that.
Nah, I'm not for sure. I didn't watch the whole thing. Obviously, I watched the whole one of the player from Westchester, the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched the Rhode
Mm-hmm.
Island one. I think, you know what I
Okay,
mean.
cool.
I think, you know what I mean, maybe the best intro. And no, I'm not trying to cap you down. It was tough. The best intro I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
and I watched a lot of docs. So hats
Oh
off to you.
wow, thank you,
Nah, for sure, for
thank you. I
sure.
appreciate that.
So you know what I mean, women in sports. You know what I'm saying, women in sports. You're doing big things. Just talk about, you know what I mean, just picking up. How did you go from loving the game of basketball to want to document, tell stories with a camera?
That's a good question. You know, I feel like I'm doing exactly what I've always meant. I was always meant to be doing, if that makes sense. But it kind of took me a little bit of time to get there, especially when I feel like growing up, the thing that was reinforced is like, okay, is what you want to do, is that going to make you money? That sort of thing. And so you kind of think, is this really realistic? I don't know if this is realistic, but it's like something that like I admire the filmmakers that I grew up watching. And so I meant like Yair is Finest, and like Ball is Life, and so that's what I grew up on.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're familiar with Devin Williams from 10,000 Hours in the
yeah,
Lab. I don't know if you're. So his documentaries, that when people ask me like, okay, what films made you want to be a filmmaker? Those were the films because they spoke to me as a basketball player. And so probably around like seventh grade, we had like iPads in our classroom, and so me and my friends we would try to make little mini documentaries with the iPad and stuff like that. But I never actually, like I said, because what was being reinforced is like you need to do something that's gonna make you some money. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, this is just fun. Like this is just fun. Like it's not. I wasn't thinking like, how do I turn this into a career? Um, but then the pandemic happened, so that happened my freshman year of college, and I was watching a podcast, and I was like, I think I could make a podcast. So I did do that. So me and my friends would make a podcast. Um, and people enjoyed it. It was decent. So I was like, okay, let me invest in a camera. Like let's see how far we could go.
yeah, yeah.
So I get my first camera, and I'm really enjoying it. And during this time, this is when I stopped. This is when I stopped hooping. I had this crazy autoimmune disorder, so I had to stop playing basketball. And so it kind of leaves you like, okay, like what next? Like this thing that had been, you know, my identity. And so I was like, okay, well, I could just become the best podcaster I could possibly be. But then at a certain point, I started seeing what other people were doing. They were, you know, making vlogs and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, let me try. Let me add this nice camera. Let me try to make some vlogs. Let me try to do that. And I'm like, okay, I'm making these vlogs, and like I'm able to put together like a body of work that's a little bit longer. I was like, and I love documentaries. You know what I'm saying? I told you like grew up on Devin Williams. Why don't I try to make that? Like I think I can do that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I have the tools and the knowledge that I built up over the past couple of years to put something together, and that's how I got to where I am now. But I feel like this is where I was always supposed to be. It just took me some time because sometimes you don't believe it's a possibility. It's like, can I make money doing this? Because was thinking like, okay, I do want to work as a creative. Maybe I'll work as a creative in corporate. You know what I'm saying? Like social media management and marketing and that sort of thing. But it wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel fulfilled. And so I was like, okay, this is what I'm always supposed to do. I just had to believe that it was possible.
When you say that it wasn't enough, you didn't feel fulfilled, do you mean that you feel like your creative You feel like you in a box? Like, what do you mean?
Not necessarily. I think like I had an opportunity to intern for Spotify, and it was a great opportunity because I got to learn what it meant to work in such a large ecosystem, to work cross functionally, and so it was a great opportunity. But I think it was like I wanted to do more hands-on stuff. You know, I wanted my hands to be on the camera. I wanted my hands to be on the microphone, if that makes sense. I think I also my entire day was spent coming up with ideas for someone else, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm so tired. I don't have time for what I want to make. And I was like, okay, like, could I do this for the rest of my life? I don't know. I wasn't really certain, but the way I would feel when I would create for myself, I could do this every day, and I would be really happy. So that's how I kind of knew. I was like, okay, I think it's time to like shift gears.
And then, in addition to working for Spotify, you also did work with was it whose campaign was it? I can't remember whose campaign.
Kamala Harris
Yeah, yep.
and Moss. Yes,
So
and
go ahead.
that campaign was transformative because so you have like I was working in the Sandy Springs office for the campaign, so you have like a lot of different volunteers coming in and out of the office, just offering whatever they can kind of help the campaign. And someone who came through, he was a documentary filmmaker actually, and he was like, I want to make something for the campaign. So they were like, okay, we'll have Sydney talk to him. So we came up with this like idea. I was able to cast the video. I found like I don't know how I found these different people to help produce it, but I found this guy who was a drone operator. We had
Tough.
a shooter with us. It was a lot of fun. And then that day that we shot the project, we were running all over Sandy Springs, but it was just so much fun. It was like, okay, like, yeah, I'm like, I love this. And this is someone who's doing it, right? Who's making a living as a documentary filmmaker. I was like, I could do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm seeing it, like, I'm seeing it in real time. It's like, I could do it. Like, if someone else can, why can't I? So
Absolutely.
that really helped solidify like the belief in myself. And I also think that when you're working on a campaign, it forces you to really put yourself out there because you're talking to strangers, you're asking people you don't know for favors, and that's what you need when you're working independently because you have to put yourself out there. So it really instilled some of the skills I didn't have previously. It really instilled those skills in me and allowed me to like really feel more confident as a creative and as someone who's running their own business.
Now, in fact, so I checked out your Instagram page. Very talented. Well, YouTube and Instagram page. Very talented
Mhm.
with a camera. Why don't you use more of your skills for your story? You telling people what you do and why you like to do it.
Because I feel like my story's unfinished, if that makes sense. I guess it'll always be unfinished, but I I do feel like there's something that still needs to develop, if that makes sense, before I really center my story. And so, like, I spend a lot of time just writing, writing about myself, writing about aspects about my life that I may want to produce. And so I just don't necessarily know what the medium is going to look like, but the ideas are there, if that makes sense. And I do feel like once I have like the capacity, like I will tell my story. Because people ask me that question all the time. It's like, I will, but you got to give me a moment. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still fleshing everything out in terms of like how I want to approach my story. So many different things I feel like so many different parts of my life I feel like I can pull from, if that makes sense. But also when I'm doing stuff for other people, that's all practice. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all practice. I'm learning different things. I'm making mistakes too. Like whenever I'm watching my work back, I'm like, oh, I think I could have done that better. I think I could have done that better. So I think that the people I'm working with are helping me grow as a creative and as a person. And I want that to be reflected when I'm telling my story.
All right, Nick Jordan
Mhm.
with the Knicks, G League.
Yes.
I've done some work with the Skyhawks. I know it can be tough to cut down the red tape to kind of get in there and do work with athletes. So, from your perspective, how did you kind of get in there and get the job done essentially?
So, end of last year, I was like, okay, I want to be really aggressive with telling stories, specifically for professional athletes, but professional athletes who are kind of in the margins, right? Because like G
Mhm.
League, like they're still grinding. It's like they're not quite there. So I was like, okay, cool. Put together a list. So put together a list of athletes and emailing and DMing. And he was actually the first athlete that I had DM'd who got back to me. And we got on the phone. And when I talked to him, I was like, this is exactly the theme that I'm looking for, which is that like faith, which is perseverance, because these are the things that athletes who maybe don't have that institutional support, right? A parent
Mhm.
who's played or, an easy or like or was top 100, top 50 McDonald's All American, it's a grind. You know what I'm saying? It's really easy to burn out. When he had told me his story briefly, I was like, okay, perfect. So we just locked in. I feel like that wasn't really me who did that. It was just I felt like the stars aligned. I'm very like spiritual, so I would say that it was God on that one because it was what I prayed for, and I also think that being kind of shameless and reaching out to people, just be like, hey, this is what I do. I'd love to tell your story. And he was like, who are you? Like, who do you work for? I was like, myself.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He trusted me, and he was so candid, and I think that was also important. Like he was willing to just kind of lay out his story to me, um, and so it turned out pretty well.
Nah, very nerve wracking to you put yourself out there like that to be have your work judged. So how did you work up the
Mhm.
confidence just to be seen in that light from other athletes?
I would say that's a good question. I'm okay with I'm okay with cringe. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm okay with
Yeah.
being imperfect. And I think this started with the podcast because I was using my iPhone 11, as a camera back then. So it's like I know what it's like to post something that isn't necessarily the highest quality, but it's like I'm gonna do the best of what I have because like it
Yeah.
takes a long time to get the professional equipment. It takes years. So it's like I can't wait until I have the stuff to make it. I just have to make it with what I have.
Nah, I think that's the best thing. Starting what you have. I don't know if you're familiar with the minorities. They shot on their iPhones for a
Mhm.
long time,
Yes.
made a big
Mhm.
platform. So
Yep.
I mean, that was inspiration, but that was a great answer too. Just pulling the layers back and letting people know that, yeah, you could, whatever you got, feel confident with it. Obviously putting that time and work for it,
Mhm.
but anything can happen, especially if you've been praying for it, manifesting on it. That's huge.
Mhm.
Um, so like I said, that watching the documentary, very short. You did a lot with less, pulling old clips
Mhm.
into a game. So,
Mhm.
with all that, like, man, I only get one really full day with him in an intimate setting,
Mhm.
which is dope.
Mhm.
But you only had one game. So like how'd you kinda, put it all together with less?
So this is what happened, right? So he hit the PR person for the Knicks. The PR person was like, "Look," he was like, "You get one game." I was like, "Okay, cool, that's fine." So when I pull up to Nick's spot, because him and his trainer they were doing their mobility work, he tells me he's like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna play today. I was like, okay. And so my thing is just being is super adaptable, right? So not
Right.
freaking out. I'm like, okay. So I'm like calculating in my mind, all right, so he's probably not gonna play because they brought down some guys from the league. That's fine. I was like, that could be the story. You know what I'm saying? Because um not playing when your goal is to get a 10-day or a two-way contract and whatnot, that can be nerve-wracking. And so when I was asking him questions, I tried to kind of lean into that of like, okay, how did you deal with adversity in this part of your journey? How are you dealing with it now? And again, it wasn't just me who brought it out of him. He was willing to
Mhm.
bear that to the audience. And that's really important because I think some people may not want their story out there like that. You know what I'm saying? They may not want to be captured during this part of their career, but he was open to it. So I was like, okay, perfect. Like we can make something out of this. And we were supposed to have 2 days. I wanted to get like an on court workout because I wanted more on court footage of him. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but there was a huge storm in the Northeast like last month, which is when I was up there. So I drove down to New York, but I had to come right back up because we got like 40 inches of snow. So I wasn't able to shoot with him the next day. And so I was
Right.
like, dang, like this is really cutting it down. But I was like, okay, we're just gonna have to outsource. You know what I'm saying? He's got clips of him hooping at Temple, hooping at Memphis High School, and that's what we're gonna use.
That's dope. That's dope. Let's see, let's go. So how when you sit back on it, well, let me before we get there, you know what I mean? Being a former hooper, is a specific story that you still kind of that you got on the mantle? Like, I want to tell this story because you have a broader perspective on the game of basketball, being a former player.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know if I would
Yeah.
say I have a story. I think what I want to do, it's not necessarily one story that I want to tell, but a body of work that I want to build. And I really want to give a platform to athletes, the platform that I didn't have. Um, because I think that what happens when you don't necessarily have institutional support, right? So you're not someone who is, you don't have a slam day in the life video, you don't have mixtape people coming to your games every day, but you have the talent. You know what I'm saying? Um, I really feel like, because I was the position I was in high school, I really feel like it's important for me as a storyteller to try to kind of pull those stories into the limelight if I can. And I feel like the more that I do of that, I'm hoping that it kind of shifts the way people look at athletes, because I think oftentimes people kind of overlook athletes who maybe don't have the hype. It's like, oh, they only have this many followers, they can't be that good, or they're in the G League, they can't be that good. These are like he Nick Jordan, for example, maybe one of the best athletes on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's that athletic, but he's in the G League. So people might overlook him. But I want to kind of change the framework with how we look at an athlete. It's not just about you having millions of followers. It's about like, the the character traits that you embody, right? The perseverance. That's what it's all about. And so, kind of building a body of work that focuses on that specifically and that amplifies those traits. So integrity, faith, hard work, discipline. Like that's what my work is about.
How big do you see how big do you see your platform growing to the highest potential? Where do you see it at?
I look at shows like QB1. I don't know if you know about QB1. It was
Netflix?
on Complex. Yeah, it was on Netflix, but it started off on Complex, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. Um, I look at I look at shows that started like independently and then get picked up. That I feel like is a real possibility. But what I just have to do is I just can't stop, if that makes sense, right? Because I think people typically give up when they don't receive like the validation right away. And so, like, if I just keep on creating, I just keep on creating, people will see, right? Oh, she's doing something, right? And then eventually the goal is to build a team and to have other storytellers who are kind of bought in and kind of have a similar vision as me and aligned with me. Like, okay, like we have a team. So now we can do longer projects. You know what I'm saying? Now we work with someone for an entire season as opposed to one day. And people will see that and kind of buy in. So it's like I'm very patient. Like, I'm not in a rush. God willing, I get to be here for a very long time. So
Absolutely.
my goal is just to steadily grow, steadily, and eventually people will pick up. Because when you just keep doing it consistently, people will be like, oh, okay, she's doing something. Oh, this is interesting. She's still going. Like, she's been doing this for a few years. She's still going, and it's getting better and better and better. And so that's the goal.
How are you self-sustaining right now? 'Cause I'm assuming that was free work, which is great work, but I mean, free work don't
Mhm.
necessarily pay the bills. So how are you self-sustaining?
I do a lot of freelance, so just a lot of videography gigs, events, brand documentaries, little commercials for small businesses. That's really how I sustain myself.
That's a big let's see, for the person who's watching this, could be a high school, could be in college, could be out of college, middle age. That man, I think I want to pick up a camera too. What would you say to them? To why they should get started, how they should get started, and what perseverance it's going to take to make this into something?
I would say why I got started. Well, I guess I kind of went through why I got started. But the how, start with what you have and grow from there, and really invest in the technical skills. So watch YouTube tutorials. All the information is there. You know, people always ask me, "How'd you do it? How'd you do it? Did you take a class?" I'm like, I learned this all for free. YouTube, go on YouTube, find those creators who are making really good tutorials and just practice, 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 and put yourself out there while you're practicing. You know, don't, I think the one thing I kind of regret is that I waited a really long time before I went freelance. Like it took me a little bit of time, but obviously, like, my journey is my journey. But I
Right.
think that I could have gotten more clients had I started reaching out earlier because I knew how to use the camera. Now I wasn't as good as I am now, but it's like people will kind of take you where you are. You just have to, make sure you adjust your price your work accordingly. But yeah, just put yourself out there and just I I would say always maintain, like, have a student mindset, right? And don't ever think that you know too much, because even myself, I'm still learning. Like, I've watched the Nick Jordan documentary, like writing down, I could have done this better. I could have done this better. So always have kind of that lifelong learner mentality.
Lifelong learning mentality. I'm gonna have to take that out of your. I'm gonna have to take that out of your bag, add it to my bag. When I watch it back, I don't. Oh, I don't. I never journal like, I could have done this, but I kind of just lock it in and just we just watch,
Mhm.
watch, watch, and watch other
Mhm.
people. So I'm gonna have to take that from me. That was dope. Let's see where we're gonna go here. We talked about why you love it. What you do. Um, let's go here, man. What do you what do you do to kind of decompress? What do you do outside of, camera work? Do you run? You just go to the gym? Do you read, meditate? What do you do?
Run. I do run a lot, so I run like 4 to 5 miles, like 4 times, 5 times a week. Lift a lot. Um, I am learning how to play the ukulele this year, so that's been a fun little hobby. Learning how to speak French. My family speaks French, so I'm like familiar with the language, but like I want to be conversational. So
Haitian.
been on my dual. Yes, Haitian and Cameroonian. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so both
Interesting
sides of
mix.
our family speak French. Mhm, yes. So I want to be more conversational, so I'm on my Duolingo grind.
Yeah.
And I'm visiting Montreal this summer, so I'll definitely have a lot of opportunities to practice. Um, what else? What else do I do? I read, watch a little bit, and I watch a lot of documentaries. Watch a lot of Netflix as well. So that's what I do to decompress. But also try to meditate a lot. And then I also, like I mentioned before, I journal. So like anytime I'm having, whether it's positive thoughts, negative thoughts, just trying to give myself feedback, I just write it down.
That's big. That's big. What got you into journaling initially?
Hmm. Uh, so actually for a class, we had to buy a journal, just to just like prove that we had done the readings, that kind of thing. So I already had a journal, so I had this journal from that class, and I was like, okay, like I would write down like podcast ideas from time to time, but I noticed that like it was much easier for me to focus when I was writing something down as opposed to typing, and I don't know, it just also felt like it was a really good way to kind of, I don't know about if the right word would be memorialize my thoughts, but it was just a great way to get my thoughts from my head onto a sheet of paper and then to organize them in a way. So it's like I'm not spiraling, or I'm not like thinking about all these different things. Like, okay, let me put it all down here and it's more organized and I can like read it back to myself. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just a really good way for me to process life. Really good way for me to, like I said, like write down ideas that I have so I don't lose them as well. So I can like go back and reference, what did I write that this day? Okay, interesting. Let me add this, or maybe I don't need this. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing.
What do you think what you're doing right now is doing for other young ladies that come behind you in sports?
I hope it's giving them the courage to put themselves out there, regardless. I think that oftentimes as women, I feel like we're socialized to wait for permission. And so I'm like, I hope people are like looking at what I'm doing and realizing you don't have to ask for permission. Just put yourself out there, put yourself in the space. Like when I started doing basketball videography specifically, I would just email, hey, can I get a media pass? And they gonna say yes, they gonna say no, and you move on to the next one. So that's what I would say. Just put yourself out there, be shameless, because other people, I know whether it's like men or like white people, they will ask. They will ask, and it is, and without any shame. So why shouldn't we? So my whole thing, Black women, is don't ask for permission. Don't wait for permission. Ask. Put yourself in the rooms that you want to be in.
Do you feel like it's different? Do you feel like do you face a lot of resistance as a Black woman in the predominantly white man space?
I think I do. Just having networked with different people and had conversations about like how they navigate their career or how it's been when they're asking for favors and things like that. I do think there's a little bit of a difference, but I also think that adversity will make you stronger, if that makes sense, and it gives you the tools to deal with disappointment. And so it's like, okay, this might be a no, that's fine. There's gonna be another person that is gonna want to work with me. You know what I'm saying? And so all the times where I'm sending messages and they don't get answered, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but there's gonna be somebody who sees my work and is like, I want to work with her. Like I like what she's doing. And so I think it's all just about how you frame it, right? So it's like, yes, am I having a different experience from other people? Absolutely. But that experience is shaping me in a really specific way, and also as a storyteller, because like, okay, now I also have another story that I can tell as well.
Nah, I agree. Well, when you ask, like you said, you asking for advice, do you feel like they're straight up with you? 'Cause I feel like, you asking people, they're a little more reserved. Oh, I just did this, and they kind of, and then some people you ask, they'll give you the whole backstory, and you should do this, and kind of guide you more per se.
I think, because I think with the creative space, people can be a little competitive, if I'm
Yep.
being honest, and I kind of sense at times where people will be encouraging, right, but not necessarily giving me like here's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? So I do think people gatekeep, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. I'm gonna figure it out, whether you know what I'm saying, whether you give me game or not. I'm gonna figure it out. Like I'll be there. Trust. So I'm not like I'm not pressed about it, but I do notice that sometimes people will. I think just not want to necessarily give away how they were able to maneuver. But it's okay because I think that like I'll use trial and error. And I also think that I try to be intentional about how I'm interacting with other people who are asking me for advice. So it's like, okay, I know how it feels when someone can be like a little closed off. So like I try to be an open book. And somebody asks me like, hey, how did you get started? This is how I got started. You know what I'm saying? This is what I would do if I was in your situation, that kind of thing.
And to your point, I feel like around our age, we were a little more open because it was still obviously still trying to, get to that level. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yes.
So kudos to our generation. But and to
Yes.
segue, AI is big in the creative space if you leverage it the right way. So how much of AI use it to expand or just take the workload off your shoulders?
I feel like AI I mostly use as a tool when it comes to doing all the stuff I don't want to do. So like drafting up different, Google Sheets, because I love Google Sheets, but I don't like actually putting everything together. So I tell, Chat, can you put this Google Sheet together for me? And you put together this calendar for me. So I think a lot of like administrative work that is not very interesting or enticing for me, I just have AI handle that.
No, like no AI scenes. Like you make this photo, and you take it like I want to make a. You know what I mean? Not yet. Not yet. Why not?
Uh, so my thing with the AI, using generative AI in
Yeah.
art, I don't like it. It's just not for me. I think
Okay.
I've seen what people have made with it, and I haven't necessarily enjoyed it because I think that people will say like, "Hey, I made this with AI. Isn't this so cool?" But I'm like, if a human being made this and we saw a video and we saw someone with six fingers in it, would we actually like it? So like, I don't
Very
know.
true.
I'm not a huge fan of the AI generated art. I feel like because you can just tell, like there's something kind of uncanny about it, so that's why I don't really use it in anything that I'm doing. So, and I don't feel like what I've seen people make. I don't see how AI would enhance my work, if that makes sense.
Like, so you waiting on the product, for lack of a better word, to get a little better for you.
Yeah, yeah. It feels a little beta right now.
They said they got to get the bugs out. Now I feel you. I feel you on that. Let's see. I think you've been very thorough, man. Is there anything that you want to plug? Anything that you want to talk about? You know what I mean, specifically.
uh, Specifically, anything I want to talk about? Yeah, I would just say like, just as a message to all the other creatives who might be watching, just keep going. Um, I feel like we all have something to say, and so just say it. You know what I'm saying? If there's something you want to make, like I feel like I always see people saying, like, oh, I want to make a short film one day. I'm like, make it now, make it
Yeah.
now. Like, don't wait. If you have a phone, you can make it right now. It might not look exactly how you want it to look, but there's a there's so much that you're gonna learn from doing. So it's like that's what I would say. Just learn from doing. Just do it. It may not be perfect, but there's gonna be so many lessons from that experience that will make you better, that will enhance you as a creative.
What's been the biggest thing that you learned about yourself to just from the start since you started documenting to now?
Hmm. I'm I'm way more capable than I gave myself credit for when I was younger. I think that I often felt like I don't know if I could do this. Can I? Can I make something like this? And it's like, no, you can. And I think that now I give myself way more credit, and I also try to affirm myself much more. It's like I can. If I have a thought that comes into my head, then I have the ability to execute that thought. I think there's a story about Beyonce. She had like a dream of something that she wanted to see like on her set for one of her concerts, and then she hit up her creative director and was like, "Hey, I had this dream. Like, we need to make this happen." And I think there's something really powerful about that. Like, if I'm thinking about something, if I feel, then I can do it. Like, I can make this happen because I made the thought happen somehow. So that's how I try to look at things now. And I think that's really, I mean, just in all avenues of my life. Because when you think about things like, I can do this, I can make this happen, you're going to somehow find a way to do it. As opposed to being like, I don't think I can, I don't think I can. Well, then it's probably not going to happen because you don't think you could do it anyways.
I agree. I agree. You hit the nail on the head once again. Tongue is very powerful. Regulating your nervous system is very powerful. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
don't talk about that as much. It is coming
Mm-hmm.
out now more so often. But last thing, man, you did. I expect you to say something about the W. You didn't say you were inspired by, you know, what I'm saying W player. Why is that?
I'm very inspired by the W players. I'm very, especially now, like
Yeah.
they got their bag and everything. I'm very inspired, and I do think that I have a lot of respect for them knowing their value, um, and not capitulating because maybe other people didn't agree. Because there's a lot of people who are like, well, just take what the league gives you, take what the league gives you, and they didn't do that. So I think I think that and that happening this month of all months is even better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very inspired by women of the WNBA. Been watching the WNBA since I was a little kid, so I'm just really excited to see the growth because there was a long time. There was a long time where I felt like people would say things like, "Oh, like the W is trash. Who watches the W? So I love to see that they're up. And best believe I send out DMs. I'm like, "Hey, did you see this? Because you were saying a couple years ago." I'm like, "Hey." So trust me, I'm taking my little victory lap right now.
Nah, pop your shit, man. Nah, Miss Sid, man, we appreciate you coming on. Sydney Tucson, ladies and gentlemen, definitely one of the best creators on the come up that could be coming to a town near you from the Bay all the way to Rhode Island. We thank you for coming on. And the floor is yours if you have anything else that you want to say.
Absolutely. I mean, if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Sydney Rosant pretty much on every platform. Um, and on YouTube at Sid Film Stuff. And yeah, I'm just really grateful to be on here. It was a wonderful conversation. So thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, Arvin.
Absolutely, man. Thanks again. We'll be in contact, I'm sure. And have a blessed rest of your day.
Yes, same to you. Same to you.
100%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, man. Legendary person coming on. Like you said, you got to follow her, man. Sydney Rosant. Let me get the last name. Spell some of y'all, man. I'm not Haitian, man. I'm not sure how to spell it. I got your back, man. That's why you tap into the Just as a News podcast. That's ROSANT. And you see Sydney on the screen, man. So, man, I'm not sure where my co-host is at, man, but we're going to tap into some more of these topics. There he is. What's up, brother? Brother, look under the weather, tired. You know what I mean? What's up? Take your time, brother. Let me know. Let me know when you're ready, brother. Hey, we got to get my brother on some Robitussin. God, oh, boy, yeah, all right. Thanks for most definitely. I'll hold on, y'all doing two things at once. Most definitely. I'll hit you. Show. All right, bet. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, while my brothers get themselves together in the background, man, we're gonna get y'all on these topics, man. We're gonna get y'all on these topics. What we got today? We're gonna start on the high school side of things, man. As you see, man, we're touching different states with the content, but we're staying right here in Georgia. We're gonna talk about the Georgia high school basketball, man. So if you are Ted, then you know that this Georgia State finals or state championship just happened, and to our surprise, you ready? You good, family? All right. There you go, bro.
Sorry, I didn't want to implode your interview.
Oh, good, man. You got to get in there, brother.
You would have heard that. I ain't want to blow up the spot.
You been sick all day?
It's been the last few days, brother.
Last few days.
It's been a struggle.
Man, you were smooth this past Sunday at the camp.
That's when I started to feel it, bro.
Hey, man.
It's been since that point, brother.
We got to get you back on that CMOS, man.
I got the capsules, brother. Been taking it.
But were you taking it before, though?
Yeah, even before, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, since I got on that moss, I ain't had a sniffle. I had some mucus every now and again, but I've been good as new, brother. Might be I'm just messing with you, but I ain't diving into your business. But so man, what you think about the interview? What you think about Miss Sydney, man?
Seems like she's like I said, just building a platform. Seems like a person like she's just trying to do the independent route. And I feel like similar kind of situation we're in too, like just having to probably take up freelance gigs, just kind of stay afloat. But like she says, powering the platform. It's not easy. She's doing an unorthodox route, but like she said, what she said that stood out to me when she talked about eventually wanting to get picked up, I'm saying, by a more major network or whatever it is. And like I said, I feel like that's the move, because then it's like whatever you negotiate the contract, whatever you get, but you still have that auditiveness over it, like you control the product. So I feel like for her, it's the same thing and all the great things that she's done. I think that's still really the way to go, and get on national that way. Instead of taking the conventional route.
Nah, facts. Nah, I agree. I definitely should have asked her about that for sure. I should have dove a little more deep into that. But I think that's what it is. I've been listening to a lot of Gary Vee as of late. Or just a lot of influencers in that or just business people in that realm. Just talking more about, man, we're all really being pushed more towards entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? Academics and collegiate is not what it is. Now, if you're going to SCAD, you know what I mean, it may be a little different. But
our opportunities are still limited there too, though.
Yeah,
That
it's
not
very competitive.
Yeah, very competitive. So I mean, even that's not a foregone conclusion. Not saying you can't, but you can even go pay whatever 100,000 plus for a degree and still be like, struggling to find a gig.
Which is why I should lean on why YouTube is so important of just, learning, shooting, like just getting out in the field, man, getting a real world experience is probably it's gonna be your best bet. You know what I mean? Get hit in the mouth and getting back up, getting knocked down 20, getting up 21. You know what I mean? It's definitely the answer moving forward, reading books, finding people like, you know what I'm saying, like you, brother. That's why I appreciate you, brother, coming in on the sick day, showing your resiliency, but also showing them what the power of a like-minded group can do for the collective.
And did a whole show before, brother.
Yeah, and did a whole show before.
So, yeah, brother. That's definitely be trying to show up, man. Bro, it's crazy. I know we'll talk about basketball, but kids is like, yo, I just sent like 3-4 times for you to do the Valdosta one. I just sent 3-4 times for you to do this one. I'm just like, bro, have patience. Like, my vocal cords hurt. My throat hurts. So me talking in those videos takes 7 to 8 minutes. You got to do your research, whatever. My throat hurts. It's easier to do a minute 30 video chopped up than a 7-8 minute video. You know what I'm saying? But kids don't be understanding that. But that's what I've been dealing with. I don't know if you noticed, I've been off the radar. Like,
yeah, you've been off the radar these past couple of days. Yeah,
exactly. Usually you'll see me like, Naj got 3-4 posts, whatever. Yes, bro, legit been going through it. And I still ain't all the way back. But I was like, I can't leave my brother hanging. I was like, I can't. It's one of my main shows, with the recruitment I felt to the kids love it. So I was like, I gotta, tough it out.
Nah, absolutely, brother. You got to give yourself time. You know what I mean? And that's one thing. Sometimes it'll be forced upon you, like this season for you, man. It's been forced upon you, but you just got to ride the wave, man. But more good days than bad days. But kudos to you. Hats off to you, bro. I want to say kudos. Hats off to you, brother.
Can you hear the difference in my voice?
Yeah, I definitely hear the difference in your voice. It sounds like you're underwater when you have to use when you have to use that side of your voice, man. Nah, but you good, bro.
Okay, cool. So when the kids hear it and hear it, okay, cool. Like, yeah, y'all Bacon said, like my voice is not the same. Okay, clearly I'm not right.
Yeah, what's that?
Not usually there.
Chop the screw, Naj.
Chop the screw, Naj. I like that.
Nah, yeah. You might have to put that out. Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm chopping. Nah, don't do that. Yeah, man, Naj on that cough syrup, man. Even that codeine.
Yeah, that codeine.
Yeah, that codeine, man. We gotta get him out of here, man. We thought Naj was stand up brother, man. He on that syrup.
I'm dead, man.
Let's see. But we're gonna get you out of here, brother. We ain't gonna hold you too long. I didn't go too deep on the topics today. But we will react to the 5A and 6A state champions. You know what I mean? Starting the 5A will go in order. Alexander upset Woodward Academy. And you know what I mean? Hats off to Alexander, man. Let me get the head coach name real quick. I watched the highlights or the game probably twice. And like when I go on live, I'm gonna have his name down. I'm gonna sound so well put together. And I forgot I think he's been at Alexander for like 20 years. 20 years. This is his second championship, 20 years. He called Gregory Pops Dunson the best point guard he's ever coached. That's high marks. We know he's like that. Coach Jason Slate, Alexander High School, man. They took over, man. I knew it was a Miles Hayes show really for that first half. And then once Pops hit that half court shot going into halftime or going in at third quarter, I was like, yeah, I think it was halftime. I was like, yeah. And ever since then, it was Alexander show. Credit to the Wings, though. Credit to the Wings. It wasn't just a Gregory Pops Dunston show. His, you know what I'm saying? His supporting cast came through. Let's see if I can get these names. Torian Green came up big for them. They're just a big team with a lot of elite guards. Marcus Leslie did his thing. But for you, bro, whenever you saw the results, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I think a well-controlled game by Alexander. You know, they've won in several games. You would be like, Alexander shouldn't have won this game. But like you said, great guard play. Got somebody's been in the system for years that you can trust. And I feel like the storyline is Jarvis Hayes Jr. He was 4 for 14.
Yeah.
And when you able, I know Miles is growing into a star himself. But you know, Jarvis is nice in his own right. So you know, the ability to kind of slow him down. I know it's making. I know sometimes the rims ain't always the easiest, but the fact they were able to do that, I think that says a lot about what they were brought in defensively, making it tough for him. I mean, did score, like I said, 14 points, but on 14 shots. Definitely want to be more efficient when it obviously comes to that. And they flipped the switch in the second half. They were able to flip the switch, and they couldn't knock down shots, if you will, which is surprising when you got guys like Bentley, got both of the Hayes brothers. You know, you feel like you should easily be able to run actions, pick and rolls, different things to kind of dump the ball off and just keep the ball, you know, kind of moving on the string.
Well, that's what I got to give you credit for. Whenever we were at Lake Point, like, wherever we were, and we saw Bentley play for the first time, and I was like, yeah, nah, he's no one play. Look at the makeup. Look at the one leg. He attempted fade. You're like, you know what, Bacon? I see it, but I don't know. And you know what I mean? It came to light once again that Saturday evening. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how many shot attempts he took, but from what I was watching, wasn't too active. And as a person who was rated as #1 player, I think 2020, 2028.
At one point, it was.
You need to be dominant, brother. And he was far from that. He was a third wheel. He was a third wheel.
You can't have that. If you're gonna be a third wheel, you better be a dominant third wheel. You know what I'm saying? And I know, like I said, both the Hayes brothers are good, but you're supposed to be like, if they're getting, you know, slowed down, or if Miles got 17, you should be having at least 14 and 11, 16 and 12. You know what I'm saying? Some blocks in there, but defending the rim, like, you know, that was my only thing with him. Not saying kid can't play, but that's why I'd be like pausing the break sometimes on when I'm like, oh, it's #1, like, let's see it. And I felt like in that setting when we seen him, he wasn't dominant to that level. Just to me, #1, you're doing it all.
Facts. Doing like AJ Williams is right now. If you put AJ Williams on that team, it's a different game.
Changes things.
For sure. But again, shout out to the Alexander Cougars and head coach Slate, man. They did their thing. But switching gears, man, switching lanes, 7A or 6A basketball. Willard took care of business, winning over the Pepperbrook Falcons. I don't think anybody was surprised. I think we would say they were pleased by the performance that Pepperbrook put up against the #1 team in Georgia. Definitely top 25 team in the nation, the Wheeler Wildcats. But however, it wasn't enough. 62-52 respectable loss, but you didn't take home the trophy. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on this one, bro?
Yeah, I think you got to go Coben Landry, man. Went absolutely off. I seen the highlights on Instagram, man, and they didn't have an answer for him. I think he dropped back 20. Yeah, 20 plus points. I know now he didn't want back-to-back MVPs, back-to-back state championships. So I mean, obviously they got other players, man. I think Lamar and Cole, obviously Kevin Savage. But I think this, like, kind of what we just said about, you know, no disrespect to Bentley, like, you know, a player that's gonna dominate and take over, like, that's what you need. And you know, that's what he obviously showed. Like, this is my team. This is my time. I'm finna go back to back. And I think he had something that nobody else really at Willard can say, if I'm not mistaken, in quite some time, going back to back, especially like more newly. The Isaiah Carter definitely can't say that. I don't know if Jaylen Brown went back to back. So he definitely got something in the recent decade, at least. I got to go back and do my research on how many, because they've won a lot of championships under Larry Thompson. But it's been a little minute, at least over a decade since they won back to back. So, you know, what he was able to do, how they were defending, Pebblebrook made a nice run, but it just nobody really in the state was going to be beating Wheeler.
We'll say, yeah, there was just too much. It was just way too. I won't say it was way too much because they only won by 10. But when you have, to me, I say top five most dominant player in basketball, in high school basketball, period. Kobe Landry is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And he did his thing. He said something about back-to-back ball head, talking about Coach Dan Hurley.
Yeah,
he said?
They went back-to-back.
Wait, what was the quote he said though?
Just like that. Back-to-back baldy like I'm Hurley.
Yeah, back-to-back baldy like I'm Hurley.
So they went back-to-back.
That's funny. That's tough. Shout out to them. Big Howard Wheeler, retool. They still got Kevin Savage coming back, Jerron Salisbury, Kobe Landry will be going to their respective schools. Jerron is going to Ole Miss, I believe. And we all know Kobe is going to UConn. And the UConn. But
they'll find a way. Coach Thompson always good with that. Him and Coach Shepard do a really good job, man, of retooling and rebuilding that roster.
Facts. Well said, brother. So, you know what I mean? But that was a good one. That was a big one. Hats off again to Coach Thompson and the Wildcats at the historic program that Wheeler is. But we'll take a stop down in Tiger, Georgia, and Raven County. Probably the most inspirational story of the whole Georgia State playoff or tournament, March Madness, whatever you want to call it, push, win 52-43 against Southwest Macon. But the feel-good story that they have, the head coach playing back in this coaching his alma mater, Raven County, Coach David Addick. They talked about there was somebody's wife had just passed away, and they was talking about we're going to do this before she passed. We're going to win the state championship for her, for them to go down there and make it and do it, have the dream come to fruition, man. It's just, you can talk about it too, Naj, when you have something sentimental that you're playing for, whatever it is, whether you're trying to do it in the business world or do it in athletics or whatever it is, it just when you get tired, it's like you catch a second and third win that you don't normally get. And I feel like because of that, it made the story that much more inspirational than anybody. I think we lost him. You good? You good, fam?
Okay, there we go. Sorry. No, I was saying for sure. I think look at the story, man, and obviously goes into the depths of it. What they was able to overcome, like you said, and just having that, being able to battle through that adversity, and being a really good Southwest Macon team. You see what you want about the football team. Basketball team's always pretty good. So the fact they was able to do that and it lead off to the title, it cements the story, man. Shout out to them and everything they've been through, and just to be able to get to that point. I know that had to feel just completely satisfying for them.
Nah, facts. And then they had a freshman. They had an all-freshman duo in the 3-point contest. Who went out? I cannot remember his name. His number was 15. Actually, it was Cord Burrell. Cord Burrell, I believe. Brother, he could shoot that ball, man. Only freshman duo to come out there. But he had just played. But to be a freshman and you put in the atmosphere, man, I don't know what they're doing down there in Raven County, man. But they growing hoopers for sure. But let's transition to some more national news. Christian Collins commits to USC. Was a little surprised to see this. We're not gonna lie, but it is what it is. What's your initial thoughts, brother, over him picking USC?
I'm with you, man. I was definitely surprised too, man. I thought he might choose another school, man. But I guess USC is trying to build back, to what they used to be. What I'm saying? I guess he believes in the coaching staff. What I'm saying? But he's a top 10 prospect, man. So I don't know. I guess he probably wanted to stay close to home, man. Maybe for his reason and why he went there. But I thought, he might go somewhere else because he has a situation too where he might even transfer. After a year, you never know. USC hasn't been the easiest for players. I feel like lately, like the stock has been plummeting a little bit. You look at Collier, number one overall player, coming in, he drops all the way to 30. I know they got Elijah Arenas. So I mean they're doing a good job recruiting. I just don't think the development is happening at the level that it should be there. And why are they not in the tournament? It ain't like you're not recruiting. You know what I'm saying? You had these big time guys coming over, Ayrton Page, we talk about Collier, say what you want, Bronny James,
He played really.
Who else I was gonna say?
Yeah, Baker Mazar. Even though that didn't last
Yeah,
long.
that didn't last too long. But they should just be a better team. So I don't know, man. He probably just wanted to stay home. It ain't like the kid is from New Jersey and decided to go all the way out west. At least he is from St. John Bosco, so it's not like hella far.
Right, yeah. That's fair. I mean, top 3 USC, USC, Kentucky, and Louisville. So I mean, to me, and that's what captivated me as a young lad. Reggie Bush, just seeing the colors of the Trojans, the colors, you know what I mean, the history of the school. That's tough. That's tough. The movie, you know what I mean? What's Love and Basketball? The whole mystique. You know what I mean? It's a lot surrounding the USC brand. But you know what I mean? That's where he decided to go. We'll keep we'll keep y'all informed of how that transition goes to the off season. We're sure he'll do some open runs. It's inevitable he'll do some open runs. Probably be on Switch Culture. So we'll keep that footage. We'll keep the updates for you as we continue. Transitioning into college basketball, man. Starting out with the Yellow Jackets, Jalen Wingfield requests a release from Georgia Tech. Naj, I know you and I are definitely not surprised about this. It's just what happens when you fire your head coach before everything's literally set in stone for the incoming freshman class.
Yeah, I wanted to get your take. I'm gonna give mine, of course, but this is a player we follow both for a while. You've known him, you've interviewed him, you've obviously took this picture of him. So I mean, I think we were both baking surprise when he did commit to Tech. It was like, he might go somewhere else. But we both were surprised, and obviously, what's the word? I guess you could say impressed with Coach Stoudemire when he was able to get him. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't not easy to do. And just like what he's going to be. I just feel like 6'7", he's going to be a difference maker at the next level, whoever lands him. Probably you think Cincinnati's in play with his pops playing there, I believe it is. Auburn maybe is in there, South Carolina, but Cincinnati might be the bet there. But he's a phenomenal player, man. One MVP player of the game last year. I'm saying 20 points, 19 rebounds, nearly 20 game. This year led his team to the semifinals. Probably not their best year. But still was able to lead them deep into the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, it happens, when it is a new coaching regime and different things like that. But definitely a big loss. But what's your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. I understand it. Your coach, what was it? 30 at the Georgia Tech when it went down 49. What was it? What was it?
42-9.
42-9. When your head coach losing like that, I think it was an emotional knee-jerk reaction. I think coach had a plan, and to me, it's tough. It's very tough for me to see the same thing that happened this year, next year. Granted, you retain Akai Fleming. You said Mo Silas, he's transferring. You said that's inevitable. If you return Peyton Marsh, you just retain everybody that's not a senior, things of that nature. Say it again.
Big if too.
It's a big if, right? It's a big if, but this. Hear out his plan. Talk to the player. Do some investigating. At least wait till the off season. You feel me? Because you bring in Jalen Wingfield. You bring in another top 3 center and Mustafa Job. Cole Kuro, he's going to get bigger. You know what I mean? Kai Fleming going into year 2 should be a lot more effective and consistent going into a sophomore season. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna get some transfer. The transfer he's brought in last year for this year was pretty decent. was pretty decent. Cam Kraft come from Miami of Ohio. You see him. I mean, he didn't perform. He didn't perform, and I'm not making any excuse for him. But you look at what Miami of Ohio did this year, lets you know what type of caliber of player he was. I mean, to start on a team like that and to score 40 points in the game. So it's unfortunate. You know what I mean, that he's been let go. They had to see this coming. So basically, my thoughts on the overall situation is Tech basketball is about to go right back to mediocrity, worse than what it is now. Say it again.
It would have been a mediocrity.
It's been a mediocrity, but these past 2 years, especially this year, you know what I mean, prior to them losing, you know what I mean, it was some buzz. There was some buzz around Georgia Tech basketball. You know what I mean? Bringing in Kyle Fleming, number one. That did for me. Bring in Mohamed Silla. Like, what other coach are you going to bring in that's going to do that in his first 2 to 3 years? They're going to bring that spark back. Now, you can bring in somebody like that, but it's a big if right now, and you're not playing with house money.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, I agree with it from the recruiting perspective. I mean, yeah, you bring up a great point. I mean, I agree with you. It's hard to get those kind of prospects. So that's one thing Damon did do. It just didn't translate to the court, unfortunately, for him. But, you know, I think they move on because, you know, I think they wanted to move in a different direction. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't wait till the offseason. It's been too late because the portal opens up. You got to have your coaching intact. And I think they're going to make a move for a coach here pretty soon next coming days.
That's going to be good. I mean, it'd be ideal you bring in a coach that can, because you still can retain Wingfield. You still can retain Mustafa Diop. But it's got to be somebody they can believe in. It's kind of late. It's kind of late in the recruiting scene, but you know, if you go into a big brand like Cincinnati, probably didn't get a big recruit like Jalen all the time. So I'm sure he could probably go to Cincinnati, South Carolina. You know what I mean? That's a team that had a down year this year, but still has an Eli Ellis. You know what I mean? Still got some nucleus. Still have a nucleus they can build around. So these guys can go anywhere, honestly. The only one I'm surprised we haven't seen any news on is Mr. Bailey. Mr. Bailey out west I think St. Anne Margarita, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how it goes. But you know, it's just unfortunate. But we saw the writing on the wall whenever they decided to cut ties.
We did.
Yeah. So that's our spiel on the Georgia Tech situation, man. Tough to see, but I definitely understand that you can't go down 49-7 or 49-2, whatever it is. You know what I mean? That's bad business. All right. Ja'Kai Howard hitting the portal again. Where he was at? Auburn? Yeah. My initial thoughts, this isn't the first time he's jumped around in college, number one. But in high school, you see the same pattern. Win the OTE, and there's a lot of good things that are afforded to you at Overtime Elite. You want a pro type, you want a pro lifestyle, but the grit of staying when you turn and building a program up is what sometimes these young men and young women don't get. So it spills over to college and kind of can blow up in your face. So it's a lot of question marks around him right now, but a very good athlete. I wish the best for him though.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up because I know we've seen him up close and personal a couple of times back when we was at OTE, and I just thought like his third time now hitting the portal, or second time, hitting the portal, coming out obviously from Auburn, and then Utah. Now he's hitting it again. So I get the bounce around thing, man. But like you said, you want to build. Go somewhere where you can build and where it makes sense, man. So, you know, after a while, man, your choices start getting limited, especially you don't have good years. You start having to go down to mid-majors and so on and so forth and have to reinvent yourself. So just tell any player, I get the money aspect, but go somewhere where a coach that believes in you, you can develop. And you can, you know, that coach is going to build around you and have a scheme that he's going to use you in. Because if it's not that, man, there's no point. If you ain't in that 7-8 man rotation, you know, to me, it's no point. And then you have this where you have to constantly move, and you know, and like most people say, like if I know people don't care about degrees, That's still a backup plan, though. You know what I'm saying? And with you moving around that much, a lot of them credits ain't gonna transfer.
Good point. That's a good point. He's definitely betting on himself to be a basketball star. At the very least, he can definitely go overseas for sure. But at one point in time, you're gonna have to. I'm not gonna say you have to stay as well. Obviously, when you go overseas, you're gonna have to. You're gonna be where your talent, be where your play is gonna keep you at. But do I think he's talented enough? Does he have a bigger? Does he have a big brand enough to get winning overseas? Yes, I do. So, like I said, I'm gonna wish him the best. And it's gonna be interesting to see where he falls at for the second time in the transfer portal. Though, I mean, what was your thoughts about Bruce Pearl's son, head coach at Auburn, first year?
Man, they did a graphic where they showed him like getting 18 wins. People was like, "Are y'all trolling for real? Is this serious?" It's nepotism. Let's be honest. It's nepotism, but I get it. I mean, it's Bruce Pearl.
Right.
You want the best for your kids. I know people don't like it, but you want to set your family up. You know what I'm saying, and want them to get the best opportunities. I don't think it was a good year now with all the talent they had. For them to go 18-16, 18-17, and some people was like, "Oh, they should be in the tournament." No, what did they do to deserve to be in the tournament? No. And I think some players that came back thinking it was going to be Bruce Pearl, they really screwed themselves. Like Tahai Pettiford, he was, decently on some boards last year. Now he got to oh, what am I going to do now? You know what I'm saying? I just think, it's a first year learning on the job. I mean, it's not his first year coaching; it's his first year being the head coach.
Right.
Well, it ain't going to be perfect. It's going to be tough, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Bacon is just it's a disappointing year, especially for Auburn basketball.
Definitely a disappointing year for Auburn basketball. It is what it is, man. It is what it is, man. I mean, Bruce Pearl. I'm not gonna get into it, man. I like Bruce Pearl. I think his son will turn to a great coach one day. Had a hell of a career at Tennessee, coach's player there. Did some growing pains along the way. It's just unfortunate that some young man's college careers, you know what I mean, possibly suffered for it. In the win-loss category, I think the development might have been there, but it just didn't come together as a team. All right. So March Madness officially kicked off today. Let's look at the tournament to see what happened. I know Ohio State and Bruce Thornton didn't make it past TCU. That definitely busted my bracket. So I'm out of there.
You must only made one bracket.
I only made one bracket, brother.
Ugh.
One bracket. But it is, sometimes you gotta be all in. I was all in. Bracket, NCAA bracket. All right, let's look at share my screen here real quick. We'll break it down.
Crazy, but the Bonster got nearly 30.
Say it again.
The Bonster got nearly 30.
And
they losing.
They don't have enough.
That's what I said. There was if the Bonster's that guy, he should be able to carry him. He can't do that by himself.
That's people who don't know basketball. Texas is a solid. I know they're 11 seed, but BYU is not a 6 seed right now. They're more like they're running at 11, 12.
They
type
are
type of seed team now.
They are. They got boosted up because of AJ. They wanted to see him.
Well, Richie Saunders. They had a decent year. They had some big. They went farther than I thought in the Big 12 tournament. To be honest,
they did.
But Duke took care of business. Barely got out of there. 71-65.
That was ugly.
Ugly, man.
Got hit in the mouth.
You think they're gonna get past TCU?
TCU got a good team, man. I had them beating Ohio State. They better not come out like that. And bro said, "Oh yeah, we kind of overlooked them." Yeah, don't overlook nobody. Nobody else no more. That's what Malik Brown said in his halftime interview. Like, what? Like, this is the tournament. You can't be overlooking people. Nah. They just want to go home. You know what I'm saying? Sienna almost knocked y'all off. So, yeah, people be like, "Oh, well, with the NIL era, people can majors can't compete no more." Yeah, I wouldn't be too sure about that.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? So they hit him in the mouth. So Duke better come prepared, and they better go on the adjustments. They're gonna need more scoring outside of Cam Boozer because he got doubled and tripled a lot, and they need people to hit their shots. Katie Boozer did a good job on making plays, but they need more from Isaiah Evans and their rotation. I know Caleb Foster's hurt in the gamba, but they need more, or they're gonna get sent home early.
Yeah. This Sweet 16, not for the second round. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. That's a bracket buster potential right there.
Mm-hmm.
Louisville took care of business. South Florida plays good basketball. A lot of people found out today. But Michael Brown, consistent force. You know what I mean?
I'm surprised they won.
You surprised they won?
Michael didn't play, bro.
He did not play.
He didn't play.
Interesting. Coach Kelsey, man. Coach Kelsey's a good coach.
I thought CJ Brown and them boys, I thought they was going to get that upset.
How did he look today? How did CJ touch the floor today?
I think he starts for them.
My God. Let's look at the stats, man. Let's look at the stats. Brown. CJ Brown, 19 minutes logged, 4 points, 2 for 3 from the floor. That's solid. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, no steals, no blocks, 1 offensive rebound, and 1 personal foul. 19 minutes as a freshman in a big game atmosphere like this of March Madness. The lights don't get no brighter.
Sophomore.
He's a sophomore this year? Mm-hmm. Where does the time go?
Mm-hmm. Goes quick.
Quick. Isaac McNeely. I think that's the younger brother. Yeah. May not be. Anyway, Isaac McNeely, 23 points, 8 for 11, 7 from 10 from 3. When you're shooting the ball like that as a team, 52% from behind the arc, it's gonna be a tough day. But again, narrowly defeated the USF. Ryan Conwell, 18 points. So basically, they shot him out of the gym. Who had the most turnovers? That's the question for me. They had a lot of turnovers. That's why I almost lost the game. You can't even turn on the ball like that. So that's good. So any updates on when Michael's supposed to come back? I can kind of look it up.
Nah, you looked it up. They just said he was going to be out. So I don't know if he's going to try for Sunday. No, what's the day? Thursday? Maybe Saturday? I don't know. They're going to need him if they're going to even have a chance against Michigan State.
Right. Yeah, they're gonna have to come back, brother. Unless you're just gonna watch and get ready for the draft, because 22 turnovers is not gonna work against Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans. But let's see what else we got. McNeese, shout out McNeese though. Vanderbilt took care of business.
They gave him a good fight. That score is not indicative of that game.
So it was a closer game then.
Yeah, it was a close game. They pulled away at the end, but it was on them.
Yeah, facts. 3-point first half differential. The Commodores came out smelling like a rose. Let's check on the freshman for Vandy. Chandler Bing, 22 minutes, 4 points, man. It's not bad. McNeese, I know they have a new head coach. But the McNeese brand, I'm sure they brought in a formidable head coach. The McNeese brand and basketball is still very vibrant. But nonetheless, they came up short today. Better luck next year, fellas. North Carolina, man. You know what I mean? North Carolina losing to VCU, man. To me, you gotta let go of Hubie.
No.
Get him out of there, Naj.
No, come on, man. You don't even have. You telling me a top 5 pick, and you gonna say get rid of Hubie? They went to overtime.
Get him out of there, brother.
No, brother. You don't get him out of there. When you have
that Hubert Davis
talent, they went and beat Duke with Caleb. That's a completely different team without Caleb, bro.
Exactly.
Okay, that's my point, though. That's potentially a contender.
We're talking about VCU. We're talking about Virginia Commonwealth. We ain't talking about Duke, brother.
Hey, I understand. Virginia Commonwealth is a good basketball program. Now, I'd be different. You'd be right if they got their butt whooped. They went into overtime, bro. I ain't even had them like I had them losing by 10 plus.
Who?
They battled. UNC.
You had to lose by 10 plus? So you don't
Yeah.
sound like you don't like Davis either.
No, I just didn't think without having Caleb, bro, they just don't have enough. Like they got good guard play, but they don't have enough like interior for somebody you can just go get the ball and go give you 10 baskets. Not 10 baskets, but 10 points. I single-handedly seen Caleb do that against Duke.
Yeah.
Like they went to him for like at least 3 to 4 minutes and he dropped buckets.
But Saar did his thing. I expected that.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's hard. You know what I'm saying? He got him to the tournament. Would you say it's underachieving year?
Yes.
You gotta throw an asterisk on it, bro.
Injuries will save coaches, and I understand where you're going. But eventually, Hubert Davis is going to be on the clock. That's just my take.
I would say don't get rid of him after this year. Now, next year they go and they look like complete dog. Yeah.
Respect. I can respect that. It might be next year, man. He's on the clock. Texas A&M up by 15 over St. Mary's.
I had that same number coming.
You had St. Mary's winning?
No. Texas A&M.
I like Texas A&M. I like Texas A&M. Switching to the Midwest side of the bracket, Michigan taking care of business. That's all for the Midwest.
The game's tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Which game we talking about?
No, I'm saying most of the games are played tomorrow.
Right. But it's been a good day. It's been a good day so far. Arkansas took care of business. Good to see Hawaii getting in the tournament. I like that. Yeah. So what do you rank the first day? I really want to see this Kennesaw State Gonzaga game. But what do you rate the first day? 1 to 10.
Yeah, I say it's a solid day. You had an upset with High Point obviously being Wisconsin, a near crazy upset with Siena almost beating Duke. That would have sent the college basketball world in a frenzy.
Facts.
If that would have happened, of course. I think a solid day. 1 or 2 upsets, some dominant teams handling business. Tomorrow might be the day you see like a little bit more like upset bounds and things like that. But I thought it was a pretty good day.
Yeah, fellas, look at this. Look at that Wisconsin High Point.
The coach was like, "Yeah, y'all don't be wanting to schedule us." They was like, "Tell the big team to schedule the mid majors."
Facts.
Because and I'm with them because they'll say, "Oh, well, we're better than the 12th seed." I agree with them though, they are. But I think the problem is the power fours don't want to schedule them because in case they lose, it looks bad on their resume. But I think for the mid majors, it helps them. It strengthens their resume if they play those teams. But it's a two-edged sword. So both teams gotta be willing to do it.
Yeah, I haven't quite put my finger on the gray area of the high level mid majors because, like you said, it's definitely not a quad 2, quad 3, or quad 4 win for a team like Wisconsin. So it's like, why am I scheduling it? And then you have no respect for the mid majors unless you do your homework and realize that the team can shoot the cover off the basketball. And then March Madness, you look up your bracket and bust it. So do you have like a resolution for mid majors being on the schedule earlier for teams like Wisconsin?
Nah, I think the coaches got to start running from smoke. If a mid major wants to play you, play them. I know you want to build your resume and BPI and net ranking and all that stuff matters, but just start running from smoke. If they want to play you, what's one matchup? One matchup not gonna kill you. If your conference is good, like let's say the Big 10, the Big 12, the ACC, the SEC, what is one game gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Do a tournament style thing and put a couple of mid majors in there. You know what I'm saying? I would say that as a term of a resolution. Why run from it? Let them see, because they're running to the issue of, oh, well, you didn't play anybody.
Right.
But then we see, oh, yeah, but when it's time to play, yeah, we can still beat y'all.
Facts.
So, I think got to put some respect on their name.
I agree. In Wisconsin's case, instead of scheduling Northern Illinois, Campbell, and Ball State, and SIUE, your first 5 games, maybe slide in the High Point. Maybe not. But yeah, great take, brother. I think saying that opinion is always needed. But yeah, I would agree. Overall, first day for March Madness, solid day. You got some thrill. You had a thriller type of game with TCU. I'm not with Duke versus Siena. Great 8-9 matchup. Ohio State, TCU. Man, not a lot of nail biters. And you get to see AJ DeBonds to play Texas, closing in right. Then we got 4 minutes left. 6-point game. 6-point game. So can AJ DeBonds make magic happen? I think he can. But all right, let's switch to the women's side of the bracket, man. Let's see what's going on for tomorrow when they get that thing going. All right, bet I'm still sharing. Good money. UConn. Let's see who's playing tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 21st? No, tomorrow's the 20th. They must not play until okay, we got some games tomorrow. So we got let's just go to the schedule. Friday. Charleston Duke. I like the Duke Blue Devils tomorrow. And feel free to stop me if you see a game that catches your attention. Like TCU and Miss Miles, Virginia Tech, Oregon, Nebraska, Baylor, Washington, South Dakota. A lot of freebies tomorrow. Ole Miss Gonzaga should be a decent one. Texas, Missouri State, Michigan, Holy Cross. I think that was an interesting one too. North Carolina, Western Illinois. What's that freshman out there? She's from the DMV area. Jacksonville, LSU, Green Bay, Minnesota, Colorado State, Michigan State, Tennessee, NC State. That's a big one, Naj. Who you like? I'm taking Tennessee. Oh, what happened to my boy? My bad, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking to my boy. I can't see that I got my screen shared. But I like Kim Caldwell and her system. I like the way they run and gun and where they shoot threes, and I think in the atmosphere.
Must win.
Say it again.
Must win.
Must win for Tennessee.
Yeah, they got her on the hot seat. They want to move in a different direction. A lot of that trust. They lost, I think, like 7 in the last 9 or something like that coming into the tourney. So yeah, it's hot on there, Bacon. Just wanted to bring that up. I know you was talking about it.
So in the end, you have a top 5. I think Olivia Edwards. Is Olivia Edwards? Yeah, Olivia Edwards, top 3 recruit coming in Tennessee. She's committed to Kim Caldwell. I mean, she may be committed to the volunteer program too, but Kim Caldwell secured the commitment and the signee, whatever.
She's a 5-star. They don't care, brother. They want to win.
Yeah, but does she leave though?
I can see it. Tennessee's a brand, of course, but I mean, I think the relationship there is with Caldwell.
I think so too. We might see Miss Edwards at Washington. That's where she lives in Seattle or in the Washington area where she's from. But we'll see. But who do you think will win tomorrow? Tennessee or NC State?
I go NC State, but I think if she want to keep her job, they're gonna have to upset them.
Well said.
Make a little run, Sweet 16 or something.
Sweet 16 will be a nice look for them. I'll go back to the bracket, kind of look at their road. Villanova, Texas Tech, Idaho, Oklahoma. No way the Sooners lose tomorrow, man. I'm a big fan of the Sooners and Miss Leah Chavez. So that's gonna be
freshman of the year.
Freshman of the year, man. I'm telling you, man. From Odessa, not Odessa, but from Texas. All right, so let's find Tennessee. So they win, they'll play Michigan. It's over with. Definitely not an Elite 8 or Sweet 16 type of team. Michigan, if they win tomorrow, that's gonna be where their road will end. Now let's go find the Gamecocks. My pick to click. They're gonna play Southern. Southern won today. Shout out to them. They beat Sanford. They'll play winner between Clemson and SC. Ooh, I want to see that South Carolina Oklahoma match. I think that's the rematch of the SEC championship. That'll be a good one. So they'll run into Texas if South Carolina gets as far. That's good. Or Michigan, Texas or Michigan. All right, that's a good road. UCLA, Duke. Who's your pick to win the women's side of the bracket? Well, let me get your Final Four. Let's get your Final Four potentially.
UConn.
Yeah.
I think South Carolina finds a way.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I got you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan, Texas, Louisville.
I would say South Carolina from that one. The other way, yeah, I feel like Texas could too. So I think that's 3-1s for me. Let me go to the up one. Regional 2. Go up a little bit if we can. That one. Keep going. I feel like that one's going to be the most upsets. Yeah, they really messed over UCLA because you got Ole Miss in there. They're a tough, gritty team. And then you got also Duke. Duke's a really tough, gritty team in the ACC. And then you also have LSU. So I think that's going to be an upset. I don't think UCLA makes it. It's going to either be LSU, Duke making a nice run, or even see Ole Miss making a run.
Those are great points. Those are great points. Those are very great points. Actually, I'm a ride with the Bruins, man. I just it's tough to go against Sienna Betts. It's not Jazzy. Let me get the names right. Sienna, Lauren Betts, excuse me. Lauren Betts, Gabriella Jaquez, you know what I mean? Kiki Rice. I agree though. It's gonna be they got a tough region though. They got a tough region, but I'm a ride with the Lady Bruins, and to your point, I'm a ride with South Carolina, and I'm gonna go Michigan. I'm missing one more. Oh man, you gotta go UConn. But I think Vanderbilt will be a very interesting team, and UNC. But you can't not go UConn. They might win it all. But ladies and gentlemen, that is our take on the men's and women's bracket. We'll keep y'all tuned. Stay tuned to definitely Bacon Network and Naj YouTube and Instagram as we go live. We'll definitely do a stream-a-thon, you know what I'm saying? Give y'all live reaction to some of these games, you know what I mean? Because we feel like y'all are family and we want to, keep it that way. And so y'all feel like y'all are part of the family, we're going to sit down and watch the game with y'all. Naj's going to have a couple cough drops, you know what I mean? A couple CMOS pills, and we're going to rock it out. We're going to turn this thing on out.
We'll try to get y'all right. Hopefully, round of 32. Hopefully, I'm better by tomorrow. If not tomorrow, we'll definitely try this weekend, Saturday or Sunday or something.
I bet. That's a bet. NBA news. Rubs hands like Birdman. The Hawks, the hottest team in the NBA, man. It's about damn time.
You know it's going your way when Jonathan Kuminga's throwing a pass and it goes in for a shot, full court. That's
a fact, man.
That's all I need to know. But it just speaks to them making a nice pivot, Bacon. No disrespect to Trae Young. Hate to be this guy, but I just don't feel like you can build a franchise around a player that is 5'10" or shorter anymore. No disrespect to Trae, and I think they realize that.
He's 6'1" though.
Huh?
Trae's 6'1".
They say he's shorter than that. They're saying he's 5'10", bro. I'm just saying what they're saying.
Who is they?
I mean, that's what people say. You know, they say they'll go up an inch or two.
Nah, they do.
That's good. That's what I've heard. I don't know how true that is, but I just don't. Or we just say 6'1". I don't feel like you can build around a player like that no more. If we were going to give him 6'1", and I think the Hawks pivoted at the right time. They started to see that they could play better without Trae Young, and they were winning a lot of games. And I think they're like, hey, let's build around our 6'10" superstar, Jalen Johnson. And we're mentioning Jalen Johnson more than we're mentioning Zachary Richardson. And he was a top pick in the draft.
Right.
You know, and I think it just goes back to the proven product of Duke. Look at some of the NBA superstars: Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving. Now we have a young emerging one, Jalen Johnson, Cooper Flagg, who I've been high on for a while.
Yeah.
You know, and they're going to Duke and developing, bro, and being ready to play in the league and contribute. So I think it's a good job by their administrative staff, their front office, seeing it, recognizing it, and then making that move. And I think in the long run, they're going to be better for it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. The Hawks are flying high. We didn't get Magic City Mondays, but that's all right because we're still going to Magic City on Mondays. You know why? We on an 11-game win streak. Potentially could be 12. You know, we got Houston coming into town, or are we going to Houston? We are going to Houston Friday. Going to Houston they're probably in Houston right now, but they'll play Houston tomorrow, 8:00 sharp. To me, a tough game. Going to see KD. Going to see a Thompson twin.
And they lost 2 consecutive games.
How many games did they lost consecutively?
2.
Lost 2 consecutive. Another reason why tomorrow going to Houston or playing in Houston tomorrow will be the biggest test of the run to this point. I think we go in and beat Houston. I think we can clip Golden State's wings and Memphis, both home games, and we'll go to Detroit, Boston, and then we'll kind of see what we're made of. The rest of the way. But I think the Hawks can very much find themselves top four on the best end, 5, 6 outside the play-in is where we want to be. And I think that's very realistic. Now, in other big news for the season the season and the outlook in the East have just changed with Cade Cunningham. Now I'm going to be missing some significant time.
Collapsed
lung, and that's no injury to play around with. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how long a period people are out with collapsed lung. That's very serious. But just how much, in your opinion, how much does the landscape in the East change playoff picture wise if K misses rest of the season and first round of the playoffs? Or part
I think it goes to the top. You look at Boston, obviously with them having Jason Tatum back. Look at the Knicks as a potential threat. I know some don't feel as high on the Knicks, but I throw them up there. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, Cleveland, you can't sleep on, but I wouldn't say they're full contenders. Still got to see. But I think outside of Boston, it'd be wide open. You know what I'm saying? Denver hasn't played the best as of late, but I think it would just make it wide open for anybody else who wants to make a Western Conference Finals or Eastern Conference Finals, excuse me.
Yeah, that's facts. Which is why I think the Hawks have a legitimate chance, especially with Cade. I hope he comes back tomorrow. I enjoy seeing Cade Cunningham play. I think it adds that much more of an emphasis to the playoffs. But if he misses a significant amount of time, I think the Hawks will very much find themselves in the Eastern Conference Finals. And people be watching the game from Magic City, eating lemon pepper wings with Lou Williams.
Okay.
And if you ain't careful, Cleveland, James Harden might find himself in in Magic City too. But that's neither here nor there. All right. Let's see. The Los Angeles Lakers are on the right track as well. 7-game win streak. Top three in the West. We know how competitive the West is. Though I was talking to my guy yesterday, man. He hit me up. He always hit me up. Man, Lakers going to the final. I said, brother, Lakers don't play no defense. I understand y'all winning, but it's a different game in the play. It's a different atmosphere in the playoffs where they can game plan towards Luka, make him play on both ends of the court. What's your Oh, you got a poll, man?
Some new feature they got look like.
Nice. I mean, what you think about the Lakers? Trying to see how I can vote.
It's pretty cool. I've seen both of their games, man. You know what I'm saying? I think the Lakers are a team, like I said there, should we be taking them serious? I won't say they're finals bound. But they're definitely gonna be dangerous come playoff time. What they did to KD and the Rockets, they're bought in. LeBron's, flying. Austin Reeves is, man, he look like a top caliber player, man. You know what I'm saying? Top caliber player. And I think they're feeding off each other. And I think they didn't figure out how all three of them could play together. And I think that's scary. And Doncic went off for 40-10-9 last night. They didn't have an answer. And then you go double him, you have literally Reeves and LeBron. Good luck. And then they're bought in defensively too, right? I'm just saying, to me, outside of the Spurs and OKC,
Denver.
I wouldn't even be scared if I'm Denver. Not with the way Jamal Murray's playing.
That's true.
Joe can't do it by himself.
That's true.
Aaron Gordon just came back.
Aaron Gordon just came back.
So I feel like, yes, you got to start taking them serious. They are legit. So we'll see if that pans anything, if they ever play the Spurs or the
Minnesota.
And Edwards just got hurt, right knee inflammation. They're not the same team without him. That's like Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Baby Kobe. So you got to get the right talent around them. I mean, they got Julius Randle, some other nice pieces and stuff, but
I was just saying, nah. I like Julius Randle, man. Kentucky fan, went to Kentucky, but they don't have 85. They ain't gonna win anything.
Now, here's one thing that he can like bring somebody over and uplift the team. But I think the Lakers got a shot. True.
Shot to get to Western Finals.
Yep. And then from there, depending on who they play, they got a shot. If it's OKC, yeah, you gotta have an answer for Shea Butter. Good luck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Their bigs are a little compromised.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell you're gonna stop Wembanyama. Because your big men are soft. So ain't soft. But
I like Jackson Hayes.
Decent. So yeah, those two would be a problem, but they can get to a West Conference Finals for sure.
Yeah. I mean, they beat Denver on Austin Reeves' prayer. He's done it before, though. It did in the AAU game. The Arthur, when he threw out the rim free throws because you got to miss and he got the layup. That was acrobatic. That was impressive. Back into their schedule, they got Miami tonight, Orlando, Detroit, Indiana, Brooklyn, Washington, Cleveland, Oklahoma City, at Oklahoma City, Dallas, Oklahoma City again. So they have, to me, not every game. It's a couple games here that's going to test the Lakers, like Cleveland, Detroit. They play good defense. Oklahoma City for sure. But again, though, man, for the Lakers,
they're on a 7-game streak. They did beat like 5 or 7 top 10 teams.
Yeah, they beat Houston back-to-back days, both on the road. They beat Denver. They beat Minnesota. They beat New York. And that's it. That's it. But they've been putting up some good numbers though. Like Doncic, in every game that they've won consecutively, Luka Doncic has scored 30 for 36 or more, with his best game 51 coming against Chicago, and 40, like you said, last night against Houston. Austin Reeves scored 32 in the big win over Denver. this past Saturday.
They're beating quality teams. It ain't like they're beating the bottom of the league. They're playing some of the best basketball at the right time. I'm big, and I'm telling you, I've been on what would you say? I don't want to say bet. How would you say it? Can't even think right
You
now.
been betting on prospects?
No prospects here. No, I've been on bed rest is what I was looking for, and I've seen them play Monday, and I've seen them play Wednesday, and they're a problem. I wouldn't be just saying that. I feel like Lakers be overhyped, but the Cowboys, they might be a problem.
I like the Cowboys. No, I'm gonna take your word for it. I was in and out watching the game versus Denver. If they're on TV tonight, I'll try to give them some of my time, man. My guy always hit me up, man. We're going up to the finals. I'm like, brother, I'm just not sold that the Lakers will be able to play defense. I think you lock in on Luka. To me, LeBron James, I love LeBron James. He's been one of my favorite players for as long as I can remember. But you gotta use him like a rook. Whenever you need him to come in, he'll come in. He's gotta be effective. I don't think you can play LeBron James 30 minutes a night. Scale that down like 20, 25 minutes. Back loaded towards the fourth quarter, so we can give you that same energy we saw in the All-Star game. When he gets tired, he's susceptible to turn the ball over, brother. We've seen it too many times.
He's your third option.
He's the third option. I agree.
You can't have him come in 20, 25 minutes here. Too valuable. Because when Luka's double on those pick and rolls, as you say, he's looking for either Reeves or LeBron. Both of them as two extra ball handlers. So they're going to know how to get in the right play every time.
You got Marcus Smart.
Not the same level of IQ. That's like comparing apples to cherries. No. Two different things. LeBron's going to always make the right play, whether that's finding him in the corner, driving and dunking. One thing to rebuttal what you said about LeBron, he has, I think it's the only time in his career of the past 10 to 12 games, he's had fewer than, 12 shot attempts?
Yeah.
So he's taking less shots. So remember early in the season, he was hurt, sciatica, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He's gearing up, bro, for the playoffs, bro. He's conserving himself. So what I'm saying is you're right. The game's going to slow down. They're going to be doubling Luka, and it's going to be problematic because you got a whole point forward in LeBron, all-time great player. He don't get the ball where he needs to go. All it's going to be is for them to make their shots and for them to finish around the rim. That's it.
Yeah, like I said, man, I'm always rooting for LeBron. I'm always pulling for LeBron to get number 5, brother. I'm always pulling for him to get number 5 this year. Hats off to him, and let's just try to ride off to the sunset soon. But I think I'll say it. The game's gonna be the game of basketball will miss LeBron James immensely whenever he decides to hang up the cleats, not the cleats, the shoes, the sneakers, and we're assuming walk up the staircase to the executive suite and start calling shots. Because it's been a hell of a ride for number 23, Go James, whatever you want to call him. You know what I mean? So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have anything else, Naj, we'll let the good people go on their way. But while you're here, like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe, and hype. Hype it up. You know what I mean? Hyping you up. You know what I mean? Like, comment, subscribe, share, hype it up. Again, brother, the floor is yours if you have anything to say.
Nah, I'm going to rest my vocal cords.
Sublime. Sublime, brother. Sublime. We're going to get you some hot tea, some hot honey tea, and some sea. Put a teaspoon of sea moss in there. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see y'all soon, man, for the streamathon. For March Madness, if we can correlate that. And as always, it's just as the news. Peace and love.